boys and girls. So we are on our third read aloud. This is Wednesday. This is one by Eric Carle. It's called Mr. Seahorse. So yesterday we did the grouchy ladybug. Wasn't that fun? And you had all kinds of fun activities and things to do. You got to make your ladybug food, and you got to do the games, and you got to do the ladybug craft. So I hope you enjoyed that, making the clock, ladybug clock. All right, so today, and again, we notice on the covers of all of these books, the most beautiful colors that Eric Carle likes to use when he illustrates his books. This one today is called Mr. Seahorse by Eric Carle. Oh, and here, I like this. Just like in Grouchy Ladybug, Eric Carle sometimes leaves little notes about some of the creatures he writes about. And if you remember in Grouchy Ladybug, he explained a little bit about aphids, and that aphids were little insects that ate leaves. And it's a good thing that we have ladybugs, because then the ladybugs eat the aphids and protect the leaves. Well, here's some nice little information. It says, "Dear friends, in most fish families, after the mother has laid the eggs and the father has fertilized them, the eggs are left on their own. But there are exceptions, such as the seahorse, the stickleback, the tilapia, nursery fish, pipefish, bullhead catfish, and some others. Not only are the eggs cared for by a parent, but surprise, that parent is the father. This may sound strange, but it is the truth, and this is my story about them. I hope you enjoy it." Because normally we know that the mothers take care of the eggs in most fish and different species, but these are some where the dads do that, and that's amazing, huh? Great stuff. So we're going to read about that in here with Mr. Seahorse. Oh, look how cute. All the seahorses on that page, swimming along. Mr. and Mrs. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. Mrs. Seahorse began to wiggle and twist this way and that. You see Mrs. Seahorse here? Yeah, she's got a bit of a big belly there, doesn't she? Yeah, because she's got some babies in there. "It's time for me to lay my eggs," she said. "Can I help?" asked Mr. Seahorse. "Oh, yes, thank you," said Mrs. Seahorse, and she laid her eggs into a pouch on Mr. Seahorse. "I'll take good care of our eggs," said Mr. Seahorse. "I promise." So Mr. Seahorse has a little pouch there, and Mrs. Seahorse put the eggs in his pouch. Makes me think about kangaroos, because kangaroos have pouches, don't they? But the mothers are the ones that carry the joeys, the babies, in their pouch. Oh, here's what I love about this book. See, there's something hidden under here, because you can't tell yet, but when I flip that, you'll see that's clear. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a group of trumpet fish hidden in the patch of reeds. Reeds are these long plants in the water. Now watch. See how that's clear but with color on it? And now when I flip it over, Mr. Seahorse is behind the reeds, isn't he? And there's the trumpet fish. Can you see them? Long, aren't they? Very big mouths and long. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. "How are you, Mr. Stickleback?" asked Mr. Seahorse. "Delighted," replied Mr. Stickleback. "I just built a nest, and right away Mrs. Stickleback laid her eggs into it. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch." "Keep up the good work," said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. Isn't that an interesting fish, a stickleback? So he's taking care of his eggs that Mom has laid, just like Mr. Seahorse's. Oh, here's that page again. All right, there's something hidden in there. Are you ready? As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently among the sea, he passed right by a lionfish hidden behind a coral reef. Can you see the lionfish before I turn the clear page? Oh, look for the eyes. Do you see the eyes? Look, do you see them? Okay, watch carefully. Here we go. Ready? See how it's clear? Ah, there's the lionfish. And now Mr. Seahorse is camouflaged, huh? Wow, what a beautiful fish, huh? But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. Oh, look where the eggs are. How are you, Tilapia? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Mr. Tilapia couldn't answer because his mouth was full of eggs. I know, said Mr. Seahorse. Mrs. Tilapia laid her eggs, and now you are taking good care of them until they hatch. Mr. Tilapia nodded his head. You must be very happy, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. Do you see the eggs in there? Look at that. No wonder he couldn't answer, huh? Keeps them safe tucked inside his mouth. Okay, here's where we're going to have another hidden fish. So be on the lookout, okay? Ready? Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, and he passed right by a pair of leaf fish hidden among the seaweed. Oh, now they're going to be hard to see. They're leaf fish. And look at all the leaves in there. So let me hold it up closely. Anybody think they see a fish? Always look for the eyes. Oh, I see one. See it near my finger? Okay. Ready? Let's turn the clear page. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. And you see they're shaped like leaves, aren't they? And now Mr. Seahorse is camouflaged. Oh, very interesting. All right, let's see who he meets next. Oh, look at Mr. Seahorse. Ah. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Curtis? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Perfectly fine, replied Mr. Curtis. Mrs. Curtis laid her eggs, and I have stuck them on my head. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. You're doing a really good job, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. Look at Mr. Seahorse upside down. Do you see the eggs on the fish's head? Yeah, look at that. What an interesting place to carry eggs, isn't it? Oh, all right. Who's hidden there, do you think? As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a stonefish hidden behind. Now, I can't even read the rest of that sentence because it's behind that right there and I can't see. So I think they're going to say hidden behind a stone, but I have a feeling this might be the tail of the stonefish. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know if I even see the eye. What do you think? Is that the eye? Let's see. All right, so the stonefish, of course, was hidden. It was hidden behind a rock. Look at that interesting fish. Look at that eye. Isn't that funny? So interesting. And now Mr. Seahorse is behind the rock. Stonefish. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Pipe? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Oh, couldn't be better, replied Mr. Pipe. Mrs. Pipe laid her eggs along my belly. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. You should feel proud of yourself, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on. Now we can see why they call him a pipefish. Look how long and skinny he is, like a pipe. But look at that. Look at all the eggs right there, carrying them along his belly. That's fascinating, isn't it? It's amazing what sea creatures can do, huh? But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Bullhead? Said Mr. Seahorse. Tip-top, said Mr. Bullhead. Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs, and the eggs have hatched. Now I'm babysitting. You're doing a fine job, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. That's a lot of babies to watch at one time, isn't it? Wow. He must be a very good babysitter. Huh? Awesome. All right, well, let's see. This is my favorite page. Are you ready? The time had come for the seahorse babies to be born. Mr. Seahorse wiggled and twisted this way and that. At last the babies tumbled out from Mr. Seahorse's pouch and swam away. One baby turned around and tried to come back into the pouch. Oh no, said Mr. Seahorse. I do love you, but now you are ready to be on your own. Look at all, aren't they cute? Let's see how many there are. Let's see, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's a lot of little babies at one time. And that's the end. And that, my friends, is Mr. Seahorse. Isn't that great? And just as Eric Carle said on the back, so all of the fish or sea creatures in this book, right, that he met along the way were creatures where the dads carry the eggs and take care of the eggs until they're born, which is pretty amazing. So Mr. Seahorse had them tucked in his pouch, and the pipefish carried them along the belly, right? The tilapia carried them in their mouth. So really interesting way that the dad sea creatures get to help take care of the babies. All right, so stay tuned. We have some fun crafts for you to do and some fun yummy treats for you to make, and also a fun game for you to play. So this is Mr. Seahorse. Tomorrow's Read Aloud will be our next Eric Carle book, which will be something that has to do with an 8-legged creature. So stay tuned. Okay, bye everybody.